Imagine moving halfway across the world, leaving everything you know, your friends, your comfort zones, all to start again in a new country. In this video, I'll be talking about my experience of moving to Australia. It's been a whirlwind, but I can finally say that I'm starting to feel settled here. So this is my experience that I'm sharing. I've always known that I wanted to move to Australia, but I never really knew when I was going to do it. I always put it on the back burner. I think since university I've been like, I'm going to move to Australia. I always told loads of people about it, but then never actually made the move. But this year I have moved to Western Australia and it's been a whirlwind of an experience. So I'm going to get right into it. My process took 6 to 7 months, from finding a job, doing my visa application, doing all the paperwork in between for my job. I was lucky enough to get a job before even entering the country, which I'm really grateful for, as that took away a lot of stress that I would have faced if I didn't have a job. I had an immigration agent assist me with the visa application process. However, I actually applied for my skills assessment in July and I was granted a positive skills assessment result end of November. So that took a very long time. I think that's what took up most of my time, where I got my job in October and then I couldn't really move on with anything else until I got a positive skills assessment result. So once I got my skills assessment granted, I had to wait and apply for my visa in January. However, because I actually planned to go to Australia earlier than expected, I made a very spontaneous decision and decided that I was going to go to Sydney at the beginning of February. So it was much better for me to apply for my visa whilst I was onshore. And I applied at the beginning of February and this was granted at the end of February, which is quite quick, which is something that I'm really grateful for. And then I moved to Perth at the end of March. So my recommendations for my process would be, first, start the process. Just start looking for jobs. Some people are lucky enough to get sponsorships, find jobs before they even get into the country. Second recommendation would be, get a migration agent to handle your visa application. Some people can do it by themselves, but I feel like you can take out a lot of the stress you'll face by having someone who's on the other side, continuously checking, making sure that your information is correct and up to date. Thirdly, it would be, if you're going for a skilled job, do your skills assessment early, because it can take a couple months to come or more. Or pay for the 10-day fast tracking, which I think costs maybe $1,000 Australian. I'm not too sure. My skills assessment was the one that took ages. I paid, I think, 949 Australian dollars. I'm not completely sure, as it was a long time ago. However, that is my recommendation. Let's get into some of the difficulties that I faced once I got to Australia. The housing crisis. Housing crisis was probably the most stressful thing that I faced once I got here. Actually, I got here, like I said before, I got here a lot earlier than I expected to. I was in Sydney, I was in a bubble, I was at home. I was at home with my family, everything was paid for. It was fantastic. Till the end of March, I went to Perth. I was lucky enough to have 3 weeks of paid accommodation in an apartment hotel. The location was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It was near Kings Park, great location. There was free cat buses available, so it was easy for me to get around, go into the city, do my shopping. Everything was quite easy for me at the beginning. But I only had 3 weeks of accommodation. The horror began when I started doing my weekly inspections, where I'd go around the city area trying to find an apartment. My first goal was to find an apartment. That was so hard. There was like 1,000 people attending the same places as me. This process of finding houses is a lot different compared to the UK, where when you go and do an inspection, it's only you and the rental agent, whereas in Perth or in Australia as a whole, you attend with every other applicant that wants the same place that you do. So you have to make a lot of effort. You have to make sure that you have more than one place you want to see, more than 10 places you want to see, because I faced a lot, and I mean a lot of rejections. So I nearly moved 3 times. I'll talk about the first time, which was a failure, absolute failure. It was, I think, the most stressful one out of all of them. I met this lovely couple that were subletting a room in their 2-bedroom apartment. Everything seemed perfect. It was in a great location. I met the couple through flatmates. On a Monday, I went to do the inspection. Tuesday, they were happy for me to move in with no bond, which was a little bit weird for me, but I was like, you know what? I don't have to be out of pocket, so let me go for it. Brilliant location, easy to get to work. One day before I was supposed to move in, whilst I was at work, I got a text from the lady that was staying in the apartment to tell me that the owner would be selling his apartment. And they had to move out and I couldn't move in. So one day, just one day before I was supposed to move in, I get this news. I had 3 days left in the apartment hotel. I was stressing because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to survive that long, where I have to live in a hotel for a couple weeks, or something that I didn't want to do. There's nothing wrong with it, but staying in a hostel, I came with 3 bags, so I didn't want to be lugging my stuff around place to place. I had to act quickly. Throughout the week, whilst I was in communication with the couple, I did one more inspection with a lovely girl who had offered me her room, but I turned it down because it was a lot more expensive compared to the place I was sharing with the couple. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to take this place. I found a different place, and that fell through. So once that fell through, I just tried my luck. I texted the girl. I was like to her, oh, my other option fell through. The girl, she was absolutely amazing. She was like to me, another couple has taken the room, but I have another spare room. It's pretty small. I use this as a storage place. I was like, I am so desperate. I have 2 days left in the apartment hotel. I'll be happy to take it. She knocked off $50, which I still think was a rip-off because this was literally a shoebox, but beggars cannot be choosers. Once I got to the second place, so this was the place with the girl, tensions were running high between me and the couple. It was an awkward environment for me, especially where I didn't have a lock on my room so anyone could come in and out. Sharing the bathroom was difficult, especially when I had to start work at 7:30 and there was 2 of them, so they would have like 2 separate showers, which is fine, but sometimes things did clash. So I was like, I don't know how long I can do this for. And then there was some kind of parties going on. It was hard for me to sleep at night sometimes, so I was like, I need to get out of here. I only lasted a week in this place. I was lucky. I went on to flatmates. I found a girl who's now one of my friends who was going away to Bali for a couple months, and she was like, I need someone to stay in my room. You don't have to pay a bond or anything. So I was like, yep, I'm gonna do it. Brilliant, let me go for it. Best move I ever made, because I was able to make some friends who I'm now friends with still. So that was great. That was, I think, mid-April was when I moved into the 3rd and final room share. I was still looking for my own place because her turn was imminent. She was getting back to Perth mid-June, and it was mid-April, or actually no, not mid-April, it was the end of April when I moved into her room. Everything was fine. I was kind of like relaxing a little bit. I wasn't working too hard to go to inspections. It wasn't until it was like maybe mid-May I started to properly look again, because I was like, this girl is coming back very, very soon, so it's time to go back through the constant rejections again. I got a lot of rejections, but I was pretty lucky to find a place by the end of May. I'm so grateful. The whole process of finding a permanent rental took me 2 months, which I thought it was long for me, because in the UK it takes maybe 2 weeks max to get a place, whereas here it took me 2 months. I am aware that some people it's taking them a lot longer, 6 months. They're still looking for places, but I'm so grateful I was able to find a place within the same building that I was staying in before before, so moving process was pretty easy. It was just going down one floor. My advice when it comes to housing, it would be make sure you have all your paperwork in order. One of my friends who came from the UK, they actually had a agent to do the viewings for them before they went to Australia, so they had a place to move into as soon as they got here. So if you're someone who has come in with a family, or you just want things to be prepared and ready for you, you don't want stress, have someone do the viewings from Australia or wherever you're going. Have someone do the viewings for you, get the paperwork in order for you. It is a paid service. I wish I took that offer, but I never knew that there's actually people out there that will do the viewings for you, process your paperwork to get the place. It made it so much easier for them. If you don't have someone doing the inspections for you, make sure you are constantly looking for the weekly inspections. I use 3 different sites to look for houses. Most of them cross over where it's the same apartment, house, or if you're looking for room share, use Flatmates or Flatmate Finders. If you're looking for an apartment or a house, download Domain, Tenant app. I can't remember what the other one is, but I'll put it somewhere on the screen. The second difficulty that I faced was isolation. When you move to a new place and you don't have any friends, you don't really know anyone, difficult transition where I really had to put myself out there to meet people and make new friends. Otherwise, it's very lonely. Perth compared to UK is very, very different. The atmosphere, the culture around here is super relaxed. It's lovely. I absolutely love like how it is out here. I was so lonely that I almost contemplated going back to the UK. I was literally, I think I was in my maybe 4 weeks I was in Perth to start with, and I was like, I'm actually ready to go home. But I stuck it out. I decided to get out of my comfort zone, started to join different groups, making new friends, doing some activities to get myself out there. That was something that really, you really have to make a lot of effort to make friends out here, because it's just so spread out. Trying to find people who are like-minded, or even people that are not like-minded, it's hard. It's a difficulty. Making friends when you're a little bit older is so hard. This was definitely a learning curve for me as someone that really kept themselves to themselves. I've had the same friends for years. I've never been someone that was so, not that I wasn't open to making new friendships or anything, but I've never been someone to really put myself out there to make the effort of making new friends, meeting new people. So this was definitely a learning curve for me. Joining Facebook groups to meet new people, but exercise caution. To wrap up this video, moving to Australia was definitely a difficult transition for me. I was not expecting some of the complications that I encountered with housing. It's been a learning curve. I have signed my lease for this place for 1.5 years, so I'm really happy that I don't have to worry about housing for quite a while. Making friends, I've just tried to be more social. I've just had to be more social, and also it's been helpful because I've been learning to do new hobbies, attend different things that I wouldn't have if I was in the UK. The process of actually getting here, I would always recommend getting a migration agent. Start your process early before you actually want to make the move. Have everything in order. A skills assessment lasts for 3 years, I believe, so get that done early if you're even contemplating the thought of moving to Australia. Just get it done. It will make the whole process a lot easier. If anyone is considering making a big change in their life, such as moving to another country, just make the change. Just make the big leap of faith and move. It may work out, it may not, you never know, but the journey is exciting once you get there. You learn a lot of different things about yourself, things that you wish you knew before, things that you like, make new connections with different people. It's great. Everything comes with difficulties, but the process is always fun. I have to laugh. The process does become fun once you finally get settled, and I can say 5 months later I feel a little bit more settled. than I did a few months ago, because it was an absolute uphill journey. This is the end of my video. I hope you've made it to the end and you've enjoyed watching this video. If anyone wants to know a little bit more about my process or has any questions, please leave your questions in the description bar down below. Make any comments if you have any tips for me about making friends here, making more friends. I'd love to hear them, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.